My bad. Great. I'm just gonna get into kind of what we have going on for today. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the 3D design showcase. Like I mentioned before, it's not really a competition, but we're really excited to kind of bring this out, get you guys to take your own ideas, build them, and then submit them. And a great thing that Soho will also talk about is that once you submit your design, it gets put onto our website, and the thousands and thousands of students that we have that come to our website and attend our programs get to see your own project, and we might even use that as an example for future sessions. So if you really want to showcase your work, feel free to look at that. The second thing we'll go over is how to submit your design. We talked about it last week that we would go over in this class, and that's what we're going to do. And you guys also have a week to do it. And then the third thing, we'll build the final castle project, and then talk a little bit about what other things you could build by yourself in the future after this class.
Yeah, so just remember that our design showcase is going to be kind of ending next week. So right now is the 31st. Next week, a week from now, will be on the April 7th. So if you do want to be a part of our design showcase, which is a really great opportunity for you to not only explore and use your design skills that you've learned in these sessions, but also just explore more creativity. The design showcase is an opportunity for that, where you can basically create your own design, submit it to us, and then regardless of what your project is, we'll post it onto our website, and it'll go out to the 2,000 plus students and parents on our website and who are engaging in our content. And it'll be on our website for a very long time. So your parents, your friends, they can scroll and find your 3D design and see it displayed on our website. And yeah, it's just a really great opportunity. And you also learn a lot of just taking skills that you've learned and applying it to a project that you want to create.
Okay, so yeah, just a couple more things about the design showcase. Make sure to build your own 3D design. It's great to take inspiration from like objects in your house or something that you've always wanted to build, but make sure that you're always building your own project. That's the main thing. That's the main thing that you're learning, and it's really exciting to see that once you've submitted your design, we can just put it on the website and see everyone's projects. So another thing, make sure don't submit a design that we've already built, and that includes the one that we're going to build today. So just build your own design and then make sure to submit by next week. So yeah.
So I know a lot of you may be asking how to submit your 3D design. So we're actually going to go ahead and just show you guys that really quickly. So I don't want you guys to actually follow along because I'll share a video later. The video's already been posted, but I'll share with you guys a video of how to do this. So for now, just look at what I'm doing, and then you can just do that to your own project later on after this class, or you can watch the video again to just recap what we went over. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick, and you should see kind of the Autodesk Tinkercad, kind of the homepage. So don't follow along right now, just watch and see what I'm going to be doing. And then later on, once you're done with your project that you want to go ahead and submit, you can just follow these steps, which is also linked in a video that we'll share in our weekly emails. So first thing I want to go ahead and do is say I have just any design, right? So I'll just create a new design for now, just something super quick. Again, don't need to follow along, just watch what I'm doing right now. So let's say I just take, any shape, I'll just do, I think that's good, right? And I'll just call this, let's call this project, I would say name your project first of all. So I'll just call it like My Blue Sphere. And once I'm done with that, all I really need to do is once I have my design, I go to my home page. You'll see that this is probably something you guys are familiar with. You'll have your design right over there to show. So the first thing that you want to go ahead and do is before you submit, this is a very important step. So first click on settings, and then just click on the properties selection, and then it'll bring these design properties up. So you'll have your design name, design description, tags, whatever. But the main important thing here is privacy. So you'll see here it says privacy. So what we want to do here is that we want to change the project from private to public. And the way you do that is you just click on this and you select public. And just like that, your project has become public, and then you just want to save changes. So once you create your project, just go ahead and settings, properties, change it to public, and then just save changes. And that just allows us that once we get the link, we're able to view your project. If your project is private, we won't be able to see it. And so we just won't be able to display it on the website like we wanted to. So make sure that your project is public. We'll share the steps how to do that. And then the last thing that you want to go ahead and do is you want to just click on your project, and then the first thing you'll see down there is the link. You can just go ahead and copy that link, and then what you're going to go ahead and do is just submit that to a form that we have located that we'll send you the link for. So the form looks a little bit like this. Don't worry about it. We'll send you guys the link, and it just you click start, type in your name, type in your last name. And it says, what is your last name? You type in your last name, and then say, okay, hello, Sohail, let's get started. And this is where you want to go ahead and copy this link that you've just seen right over here, and you want to paste it into this place. And you'll see that once I've pasted it, it's okay, good. And here's the thing, that if you are confused about what I just did, right, you're just like, wait, Sohail, I completely missed that step over there of how you change it from private to public. Don't worry about it, because we've created our own YouTube video of how to change it from change it from private to public, and submit the 3D design to the app, to the design showcase. So if you want to view that video, just click on this link, and it has a complete video. I won't play it here, but it's a complete video, just like that. So that's just how to submit it, and it'll have all the steps that we just went over. But anyways, once you have your link, just click on OK. It'll ask you, what did you like about the intro to 3D design session? You can try, I really liked blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, what sessions/topics would you be interested in learning in the future? This is something that we want to gain from you guys. So maybe you want to learn about robotics, or maybe you want to learn about computers, just really anything that you're interested in. We just want to get a good understanding of what you guys are interested in, and maybe what we can bring to you guys as a session that you could sign up for. So just write, whatever, like, I want to learn blah, 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 et cetera, right? So just like that, just you click submit, and it'll just say, thank you, have a great rest of your day, and you're done. Your project is submitted to our design showcase. And then what we're going to go ahead and do from there is take your project and post it on our website with your name, and we'll share the links so your parents and your students and your friends can all see what you've built, which is a really good opportunity. So again, we'll share all these links. Please don't worry at all. We'll share the YouTube video of how to get here and submit your app. We'll share with you guys the form for you to just submit your thing, and then you'll be good. So again, remember, make sure that your project is going to be public. But other than that, it's really simple, really easy to do. And yeah, hopefully you guys should be good. So if that sounds good to you guys, I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick. But it's a really simple process. And yeah, you'll be done pretty quick.
And yeah, we'll go ahead and get started on the project. I'll just wait 1 minute just to get set up for a second. So you guys can probably just hang out for just 1 second, and I'll just start sharing my screen. All right. Okay. I got everything sorted out. I'll go ahead and share my screen. You guys should see it now. first thing I'm going to do is go to tinkercad.com. Make sure that you guys have your logins set up. I won't go over that right now, but make sure that you have your login and then sign in. I'll quickly log out just to show you guys, just make sure you guys know how to do that. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'll send the link in just in case you guys need it. I'll just send the link for signing in case you need it.
So we'll send the link for the usernames in case you forgot and the link to sign in. So if you don't know how to do that, just search up on Google Tinkercad. You should get to that page, click login, and then just sign in with your username. I'm just gonna sign in with my Google account. It's easier for me. But yeah, get signed in. I'll wait 1 minute while Sohail kind of sends out the link. But if you are ready to get started, just and if you're on the dashboard, just type in the chat yes or something, or I'm ready.
Yeah, and then also just remember that once you click on that link I've sent in the chat, it'll take you to a page and it'll ask you for the nickname or the username. And again, if you don't remember your nickname or username from last time, you can find it at the link I just sent on the chat, startstemearly.org/me. And then from there you can just find your username, copy that in, and just click that's me, and it'll sign you in. So first thing, if you click on that link, it'll automatically sign you in. But if it doesn't, find your nickname on that startstemearly.org/me site, and then just type that in, and you're good to go. So yeah, we'll just wait a few minutes for everyone to get there, and then we'll get started with today's project.
Okay, I see a lot of readies. I'll still wait a minute, but before I get into what we're building, or actually building the project, I'll actually show you guys what we're building for today. And that is a castle. So that's the great part. It's going to be finally a pretty complicated project. It has a lot of parts and includes a lot of things that we've talked about in the past couple of classes. But the main ideas for this last project is to build something that you guys would actually want to build at home or after these sessions. So when you're at home and you're building something of your own, think of how we built this kind of project, which was pretty complicated. And that will actually help you to build any project that you want to build. So anything that we've built in the past couple of weeks, we're kind of simple, but now we're getting kind of to the real thing with the final last project before we end the session today. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll also share with you guys a couple different, I guess, versions of the castle that will kind of intrigue you guys, and you guys can make your own modifications, like different colors. The tops of the castle, the triangles, you guys can modify that. And then the greatest part about it is that there's an entrance, and that's the greatest part. So we will go ahead and get started, and I'll stop sharing and move on to the actual screen. So make sure that you're ready and you're open to the dashboard for Tinkercad, and that's all we need. So go ahead and create a new design. On the top left here with a button that says create new design. And you should automatically be redirected to the page. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to move a bit slow just so that people who are not ready can get set up and get the objects on the plane. But yeah, I'll move a little bit slowly this time. So the first thing we're going to do, I want to quickly discuss, I'll share the other screen so I can show you guys what's involved with the project. So always when we have to build some kind of architecture or some kind of 3D design, you have to think about what's the first thing you're going to build, because a lot of the things, especially like structures or buildings, they have different layers. Like, so the very beginning here, you can see that, I'll pause it here. Oh, my bad. The very first part is the actual foundation, which is like the walls. That's the foundation. The next part would probably be the actual cylinders, like the I don't know what they're called, but the kind of the four kind of cones on the corners. Those would be something we would add after that. And then kind of the final touches, like the gates on the top, the cones on the top of the pillars, and then the entrance. So the first thing we're going to do is build the foundation, which is the walls. So I'll go ahead and share my actual screen and we can get started. So the foundation of the walls is pretty simple. We're going to start off with the box and we're going to make it into kind of a stretched rectangle. And we're going to make 4 of those to make a complete kind of wall setup. So go ahead and drag in a box and kind of stretch it out. So I'm going to stretch it out to something like that. You don't want it too thick either. So when you're stretching it out, just do a good length and then make it kind of thin. Like that should be good. You can make it as thin as you want. You don't have to, in fact, for this entire project, you don't really have to follow exactly the dimensions I'm doing. If you want something with really wide walls or you want something with really thin walls, that's completely fine. You can make your own version. Just if you want to follow this kind of tutorial, it'll be more of building the actual castle. So you can make modifications as needed, changing the colors, whatever you guys feel like looks best. So I'm going to make it something like about that should be good. And I'm going to duplicate this. So make sure that you have a appropriate width because you don't want your castle to be super small. So I'm going to make that a bit wider.
Yeah, and then actually, before we continue, I think I see a lot, like a few people who are just still trying to get into Tinkercad. So I'm just gonna wait 1 or 2 minutes for everyone to just get in because we just wanna make sure everyone's at the same space. So I'm actually just gonna send the class code link again in case you missed it, and then finding your username. I'll send that link again just so that you guys can understand pretty well. But yeah, if you're still having some trouble, make sure to follow those links for any more information. And then again, you can always click Q&A and ask us a question, and then we'll answer it for you guys. So we'll just take one more minute just to make everyone caught up, and then we'll continue.
Yeah, so I have the box on the plane, but like I said, Alexol said, we'll just wait just maybe a minute for people to get in. All right, so like I said, I'll move a little bit slowly so you guys can see what I'm doing. So make sure you got your first kind of rectangle on here. Mine's not that long, but make sure your box isn't going out of the plane. You just want it generally like a medium size. So just take that and you want to duplicate it. So you can either do Control C, Control V, or you can kind of you can either use the duplicate function right here on the left. So if you duplicate it, it won't actually move something else. You have to drag out and now make another one. But what I'll just do is Control C, Control V because it's the easiest. So I'll make one here and just move that other box to the other side. So something like that. And then I'm going to duplicate 2 more times and then we're going to align it all. So actually, before we align it, I'm going to align these 2 first. Or sorry, before we duplicate the other ones, I'm going to align this one because you can see that they're not exactly parallel or like matched up. So to do that, just click both boxes. You don't have to do this. It just makes it a little bit more precise. So click both boxes, click the align function. And I think you could probably just do center and that'll kind of center it and make sure they're both matched up. So that's all we need to do. And also make sure they're the same width apart. So you want to probably separate it a good distance. I'll move it something like that. We can play around. It doesn't really matter. And I'll duplicate it 2 more times. So make sure you have 4 boxes in total. And for the last 2 boxes, obviously, we want to rotate it so they're parallel. So the way I'm going to do that is on the bottom here, you'll see a rotation icon, and that is where you're going to use to rotate complete 90 degrees. So once you do that, you should be good, and do that for the other one as well. So 90 degrees. And since we're adding the pillars on the corners, you don't want to match it up like completely, because that's just a waste of space. We're going to match it up just enough so that we can have an overlap, or maybe even not even an overlap, because you want those pillars to fit. So make sure you space all of them perfectly so that their edges or their corners are touching each other, but they're not really overlapping. So I'll kind of show you a top view to do that. So I have both these boxes. I'll move this one maybe that much. I'll move that one here. I'll move that one here. Make sure you can see how the corners are just barely touching here. Right here. So they're just barely touching. And you're going to do the same thing for all of them. So that should be good. You can see that it's not completely perfect, but they're pretty much just barely touching. They're not overlapping, or neither are they just fit together. So make sure you have that. A good way to know you're doing it right is just have 4 boxes, and then on the corners should just be kind of like squares. And that's where we'll add in our pillars. So that's pretty much our foundation. I'll slow down and just wait a couple of minutes for you guys to catch up. If you are ahead at any point, as I'm going through this and I'm kind of slowing down for everyone, if you are ahead, feel free to just kind of play around. Remember the next steps. So after this, we kind of have the pillars. So think about what could be in that pillar. Obviously, it's a cylinder, so you can kind of add those for now. But I will go over that. So you can kind of go ahead if you want, but I will go over everything in case you guys need that. So okay. Another thing I'm going to do real quickly is I'm going to make these a bit taller. So to do that, I'm going to select all of them. You can also just drag and that will select all of them, or click Control A and that just selects everything. And many times you can probably just increase the size. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want that entrance to be a good height, because I want it to look like an actual castle. And a usual castle has a lot of tall walls. So I'm going to make them, oh, my bad, a pretty good, am I able to, height, like something like that should be good. And yeah, that should be good. You can do whatever height you want, but that should be enough. So the next thing, like I said, are the pillars. And like the boxes in the foundation, you can just make one and then duplicate it and put it into the other places. So you only have to make one for now. So I'm going to drag in a cylinder. I'm going to make it an appropriate size, just something that can fit. I'll also make it a lot taller. You can make it however tall you want. I'll make it something like that should be good. And what you want to do is, it's fine if it overlaps. It doesn't even matter. You can just kind of fit it in, and it will kind of like move into the other ones. You can see how it's kind of cutting into the boxes, but that's completely fine. You kind of want that kind of look. So make sure that's working. I will move to the top. And I'll fit that as best as I can. Yeah, so that should be good. Yeah. So you pretty much have one right there. I'll make it just a bit shorter, something like that. And I'll duplicate that one and put it in the other place as well. So I'll just make sure it looks like that. You don't have to do it completely aligned. You can just keep it there and then you can align it later. That's what I usually do. So yeah, you can go ahead and do that. Just click Control C, Control V, or someone in the chat mentioned Control D. I think that also works if you want to duplicate. And just keep on doing that for all 4 pillars. If for some reason you guys don't have it completely aligned like I do, you can kind of align all of them. So to do that, select all pillars, or actually just select 2 of them at a time, and just click center. I guess that would work. that just makes it completely aligned. So then you can select things like that, center, and then you select 2 at a time and click center. If you guys find the align thing kind of confusing, that you don't have to follow that, you can just align it to whatever seems fit. As long as it's just the general idea, I think it should be fine. So click both, select 2 at a time. To select both of them, you can click on one and then hold shift and click on the other one. And then that should do it. And then you just click align on the top right. Or you can click L on your keyboard. And on this time, I'll just select the top middle arrow, the middle dot right here. Don't click any of the ones on the side. You want to click the ones on the very top. And that should align it perfectly. So now we have something that looks like the foundation of our castle. And now we'll kind of get into the kind of finer details. And that includes the gates that I showed on the model and the tops and then the door. So you can kind of make adjustments as needed. It looks like this kind of, the pillars are a bit too tall, so I'll make them a bit shorter. So it's something like that should be good. And just do it for all of them. Perfect. So we have something that looks pretty equal. And so I'm going to add in my cones. One thing I saw on people's projects in our previous 3D design class was some people decided to do a kind of, some castles have this kind of like circular thing at the top where they have gates. So it looks something like, I don't know, it looks like a cylinder, or actually it kind of just has like gates on the top, if you know what I'm talking about. It's just like small gates that are lined in a circle on the top. So you could try that. I'm just gonna add a cone. You can add whatever works on the top. You can even add a sphere to the top of the actual castle if you want, if you think that looks good. Anything really. You can even add a half sphere if you think that looks good. But I'm gonna add a cone, and I'm going to move it upwards, and then I'm gonna place it. I'm going to place it right on top of the actual cylinder. Many times I feel like this is pretty hard to do, to align it perfectly. So like I said, the align tool is always a great option to align them perfectly. As long as the size and the diameter of the cylinder and the cone is the same, it should fit perfectly. So just select both of them, both objects, click align, you can center it, and that should align them perfectly. And then you can just bring them down to fit. So whatever works. I'm going to actually size it up a bit. So yeah, feel free to play around. It's harder to just get the exact dimensions, but it's just easier to just figure out and just play around until you get what you think looks good. So that to me looks perfect. I'm going to just make sure to select both of them again and align it like that in both sides, and they should be perfectly aligned. I also noticed that the oops, there's a sphere in there. The cone is a bit tall, so I'm going to shorten it up like that, and we have something that looks a little bit more like a castle. So I'm going to duplicate these cones and put it on all the cylinders. So as I do this, I'm going to just slow down and let people get caught up as I'm doing this. So if you have any questions, type them in the Q&A. As I'm doing this, I'll try answering questions, or Soho will answer your questions as well. So make sure to type them in the Q&A. So yeah, like I said, if it seems not aligned like this, don't worry, just select both objects by clicking one of them and then holding shift and clicking the other. Hit L and then align them by hitting this one and that one. So that should be good. And that works perfectly. All right, so I have pretty much finished that part of the castle. The next part that we have is pretty much the gates and then the actual entrance. And then we should be good. But the main thing about this castle is that is for you guys to learn how I started from the foundation and went up. So if you're at home and you're kind of building your own project, let's say if you want to build something of your own, like if you want to just use an object at your home, like something like a pencil case or a charger or a mouse or a notebook, think about what kind of shapes go into that design, and that will help you build the actual final product because the final product is pretty much nothing like what you would imagine from just simple shapes. So if you need to make a carving out or you need to make a hole or you need to modify shapes and change their width or assemble and group them up, that's what you need to think about when you're building your own kind of design and you're submitting it for our showcase. Okay, perfect. So someone said brick wall in the shapes. I didn't know that was a thing. I was actually gonna go over this last time, but I didn't get a chance. If you select the Tinkercad arrow, there's more than just basic shapes. So people might have figured this out already. You can get different things like even a dinosaur, which are pre-built. So these are these are really complicated designs. But these I'm pretty sure this is like parts of a dinosaur that you can kind of assemble. There's a shapes collection, which you can make your own kind of shape. It just means that if you want to make like a cone and a cylinder together and make your own shape and call it whatever that you can use in the future, you can do that. I think there's other stuff like connectors. Um, I don't know. There's like a socket, um, ball handle. There's text and numbers, and then there's characters. I think there's a ton of stuff too. The states. Oh yeah, there's a brick wall. Yeah, someone mentioned a brick wall. That's perfect. If you want to actually use this brick wall. That's fine. But I'm gonna add more of a gate. But if you want to use this brick wall, feel free to use it. You can even kind of rotate it, or rotate it kind of so that it's kind of flat, and you can kind of place it on top of this wall. You could try something like that, and kind of extend that like that. Perfect. And then kind of bring it out forward. I'm not sure. Whatever works for you guys. But I'm gonna kind of continue with the tutorial and just figuring out the basic parts. And if while I'm doing it, you have some time, feel free to add these kind of customizations. There's tons of pages in here that you can add, like stairs. You can add stairs to the inside of the castle. Um, there's a lot of stuff, but I'm just gonna get to the basic stuff, and kind of the parts of a castle that you might not be able to find on these shape generators. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll start with the gates on the top. So I'll show you what that looks like. Go back to basic shapes and click on box and drag that in. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to build really small rectangles that we're going to copy and duplicate all over like a ring across um, the actual kind of walls. So just make something small, like a thin rectangle. I'll move down so you guys can see that. Something like that, but make sure it's not too big either. So it should be pretty small, and something like that should work. I will move it upwards and I'll place it and I'll make it a different color as well. Something like yellow or even blue. And place it right on top. You can make it whatever kind of width you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kind of, all right, I'm going to keep it on the edge of the actual rectangle. So you'll see it's like right here. I'm going to move it about somewhere like towards the edge, because that's how I think a castle would look really good. And I'm just going to duplicate it all over. So it might be a little hard to duplicate since it's a pretty small item. So what you'll have to do is kind of zoom in and move outwards like that. And then just keep on duplicating them. You can also use your arrow keys to move them, and that also helps. I think the best one for this one is just to use Control D, and it should duplicate like that. So I have about 5 on this side. You can add a 6th one. I'll see if that fits, but I'm not sure it will. So it kind of overlaps, but so I'm going to move this one. I'm going to kind of align them too. So I'm going to click on them, space them out a bit, like that. That should be good. Select all of them by clicking one of them and then holding Shift and clicking all of them together, and then hit Align. And you can kind of align them like this. So just zoom in a bit. It might be actually it's pretty hard to. You can see, oh, so they're actually already aligned for me. But if I have to move one of them like this, let me unselect. If I move one of them like that and I move like this, I may want to align them. So hit that and hit align, and that should automatically align all of them together. Since we've already done this 5, we can kind of duplicate all of them and paste them in. So I'm going to copy all of them, hit Control C, and I'm going to paste right here, and I can just drag them in, and that's perfect. I'll Control D, or actually I'll Control V one more time, and I'll move all of them right here. So I know I'm going a little bit fast, so I'll slow down while people are doing this. It's mostly just duplicating and getting the right position. But once you have that original set, you can duplicate them and put them all over. Yeah, like I said, you don't have to exactly follow this. It's just kind of what I think would look good on a castle. But if you want to add different things on the walls, like if you want to add cones, there's a roof kind of shape here. You can add kind of like these roofs. You can add your name. You can add spheres, a star, whatever you guys want. You can even start modifying the inside if you want. But I'm just going to add these gates to show you guys what that could look like. So, oops. You'll notice that so make sure that they're also the same height. I've actually not done a good job of that, so I'm gonna kind of change that and make them the same height. And a good way to do that, you can just kind of move them inside, and they'll kind of get cut off. But that should be good enough to change the height. And I want to emphasize one great thing about 3D design, it's to learn more and to do and make really good designs. It's more about like how much you practice and how much you kind of just build. So at a point, it's less about like, do you know how to build this? It's more about can you just put in the effort and just like kind of practice and things like that. So the more kind of designs you build, the easier this will get. I've pretty much gone over the 3 sessions, kind of whatever we need, whatever tools you guys need to build the actual, like any kind of design. So anything that we kind of taught, you guys should be good enough to build anything you want. So that's the great part about just 3 weeks of classes, that from here on out, you can build pretty much whatever you want. And you have all the tools to do so. So I'm going to duplicate this one last time. And we should be good for the gates. And the final thing we'll have to do is the entrance. And I'll wait just a minute for people to get settled and get caught up. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with the final part of our project. So yeah, if you want to rename, just click on the top right here and you can call it whatever. I'll just call it castle. And you can pretty much call it whatever you want. So the last thing we have is the entrance. And I'm going to add it to just one of the walls, but if you want to add to all the walls, that's fine. So I'll start right here, something like that. And to do that, I will make a kind of door to make a cutout. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use two things, a box, and I'm also going to use a rounded roof. So if you scroll down, you'll see a kind of half cylinder. It's actually pretty much a half cylinder on the bottom. And that's what we're going to use. So take that, drag that in, and I'll show you what you have to do in just a second. So to make the box, I'm going to make it pretty small. Probably even smaller. And not too wide, but that should be good enough. Maybe you don't want to make it too big because the entrance shouldn't be too big. So yeah. And we have something like that. Make sure it's the same thickness as the wall. So I'm going to make it, you can actually just make it however long you want. It should just extend a good amount. So perfect. And now I'm going to add the actual rounded roof. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. That should be good enough. And I'm going to move it on top. And I'm going to shrink it a bit. And I'm going to make sure that it's
Hey, son, I think you lagged out for a little bit, so I think we do
okay.
this step.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. So yeah, I'll make sure that you have your box, which is kind of the bottom rectangle, and then also have your rounded roof and place that right on the top. So if you have to align, you can do that. Just make sure that they're perfectly aligned on top and the rounded roof sits on top of the box. Yeah, like I'm doing it right here. Make sure it's right about the same length. And that should be good enough. Perfect. So I'm going to select both of them. I'm going to group both of the objects, and then I'm going to place it right around inside of the wall. And you can size it however you want. I'm going to size it. That should be good enough. And I'm going to make sure it's centered, something like that. And since we want to make this a cutout inside of the actual entrance, we're going to make this a hole. So I'm going to quickly, excuse me one second. So I'm going to make this a hole by clicking hole up here. And then I'm going to select everything. You can also just click Control A, and that should select all the objects on the plane. And we're going to group everything at once. And as soon as you do that, you should get a cutout in the wall. And it might even take a second, but that should be good enough. You'll see I have a perfect cutout in the wall, and that is our entrance. If you want to make this multicolored, just select everything again. And if you click on the color, you can click multicolor, and it should be good. So that's pretty much the actual castle. I'm going to make it, yeah, that should be good. Multicolored, it looks fine. You can make whatever color you want. You can even add your name on the side of the walls. You can add a scribble. And a scribble, I don't think I've shown this before, but a scribble looks like this. And once you place it down, you can actually add your signature. I might have gone over this in the first class, but you can kind of add your initials. And once you do that, it creates a 3D design of your initials. And the first time I saw this is actually pretty cool. So you can add your initials on the wall. And that's kind of a cool part. So I'll delete it for now, but that should be good enough. We have our entrance, we have the gates, we have the pillars, and then we have the final, the final gates and the pillars and the wall. Yeah, so the hole, make sure that you have a rounded roof and a box and place it kind of within the actual wall. Make it a hole and then group everything together and it should cut it out. So if you have it inside the wall, just make it a hole by, if you like click on any object, you can click hole. That just makes the entire thing a hole. By the way, if you want to click hole, you can see the architecture of the actual thing, which is kind of cool. And that will make it, and once you group it, it should cut it out. So hopefully that works. Okay, so we have about 5 minutes left. I'm going to quickly answer a few questions and people need help. But before we kind of end, so we'll quickly send you guys a form that we kind of would ask you guys to fill out before you leave. So Soul's going to quickly send out the form in the chat. It's a quick form just asking how the 3 sessions went, how exciting they were, and what you felt about the entire class. So maybe in just a couple of minutes, Soul's going to send out that form, and we'd really appreciate if you guys could fill out that form to the best of your ability before you guys leave. So we have about 5 minutes. I'll answer questions, and feel free to stay on if you want to do so. Someone said a brick wall. Yeah, so to get that brick wall thing, you need to go to, I think it was all shapes. If you go to shapes and generators by clicking this drop down, click all. And then there's a kind of a rounded brick wall. There's a wall, 3D wall. There's a regular brick wall. There's a lot of cool stuff you can put in. There's also a staircase, I believe. So if you want to add that staircase inside of the castle, you can do that. Perfect. Let's see if you have any other questions. For aligning, to hit the 2 dots, you want to hit the 2 dots. You can just, if it's hard, if it doesn't make sense, just click some of the dots and you should get aligned. But you should be clicking anything on the plane. That will help you align it kind of horizontally, and anything that's kind of vertical should help you align it vertically. So you can play around with the dots, but usually the middle dot or the center dot on the plane or vertically should align it center, and the other dots basically align it to the left. And we haven't worked with anything left centered, so you just need to click the center dot.
Yeah, and then remember, I just posted the link, the Typeform link inside the chat. So you can go ahead and click on that and it'll take you directly to the Intro to 3D Design. Okay, it's a showcase submission form for some reason. I'll change that on, but basically it's a really simple testimonial. You'll just have to type in what you enjoyed about the class. And yeah, it's really quick. It'll take like 1 sentence at most, and then you should be good to go.
Yeah, so we'll send it again. Just as a reminder, you don't have to fill out this form. We encourage it. And just a kind of a notice, we will, if you were okay with it, we would like to put your kind of what you liked about the class on our website. If you don't want your name, if you want your name, actually, if you don't want your name on the quote, or like we're just going to call it like a testimonial, like what you liked about the class, and we'll put it on the website just so that we can get more students, people know that what kind of the class looks like and what people enjoyed about it. So if you have enjoyed this class, feel free to choose a form. And Solo will quickly add a question if actually about whether you're fine having your name and that your name and and what you liked about the class on our website. And that's pretty much it. So if you are fine with that, feel free to enter the form and then email us if you're not fine. We're just gonna put like if you whatever you liked about the class and your name and what on our 3D design page, which shows all of our students. So
Yeah. And then also remember that the app showcase is due next week. So just make sure to work on your projects. Think of something creative, start working on it, and then we'll share with you guys both links. I'll actually just put it in right now. So the first link I'll share here will be how to submit your project for our app showcase or our 3D design showcase. So let me just paste that here. That's going to be the steps for what I just did in the class. I showed you guys how to submit. So it's all linked in that YouTube video. And then once you want to go ahead and submit your 3D design, I'll send that form again so you guys can see that as well. So it's bit.ly/submit for showcase. Yep, and that's the one. Okay, so I'll just share that as well. Yeah, those are the two ones. Let's see if, so, okay, yep, that's the right one. So there's the testimonial form, the YouTube video for how to submit for the 3D design showcase, and then lastly, the submission form to submit your 3D design. So just remember, work on the project. It's a really good opportunity for you to explore your creativity, explore the things that we've taught you in class. And then also you'll get a good opportunity to get your 3D design posted to our website with your name that all your friends, parents, family, they can all see it and congratulate you on a good job and a job well done. So it's a really good opportunity. But yeah, and that pretty much wraps up today's session. Again, thank you all for joining across these past 3 weeks. It's really fun to teach you guys as it is for fun for us to as it is fun for us to create these projects and showcase them to you. And we hope you enjoyed spending these past 3 weeks, learning intro to 3D design. So yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Yep.
Enjoy the sun.
Well, pretty much, and we'll stay on just for maybe just a minute. But yeah, make sure to fill out the form before you leave, or you can do it after. But other than that, if you have any questions, if you don't have any questions, that's fine. Feel free to leave. And yeah, like So said, it's been really exciting to teach you guys. And we hope to see you guys sometime in the future with our new program. So if you're really interested, we'll send out emails to you guys with the recording and future programs. So that's pretty much it. Feel free to leave, but we'll stay on here for just a minute.
So I don't think there's any open questions left. So I think we're going to conclude for today.
Yep.
So yeah, have a great rest of your day, guys. Thank you.
See ya.